So, what are we watching today?
Well, seeing as the new one has just hit the cinemas, where you can see these things, I figured why not go back and take a look at Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Scary thing is we've been watching Bill and Ted movies for 31 years.
Well, there's only been two, and they were 89 and 91, so it's been a long time.
It has been a long time, and I got to be honest, I haven't watched a Bill and Ted movie in quite a while.
Yeah, I haven't watched them for ages, but they're always fun.
Oh yeah, they're good-natured, sweet fun.
And I always liked the second one. The second one was probably my favourite. I haven't seen that one in a while, but that one was always fun.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I prefer Bogus Journey to Excellent Adventure, but I mean, for the rights of this one, we're going to go back and do one. And here it is too, in all its ex-rental glory.
Unfortunately, we're not able to see the new one, Face the Music, because
We're located in Melbourne, Australia, where we don't have cinemas just at the moment. It is opening around Australia otherwise, though.
But we can go back and relive old times, so that's what we're doing. So Bill and Ted, so 1989, it was actually filmed a couple of years before that, and it almost didn't get released.
Man, it sat on the shelf for 2 years.
And then I think it was sold to another studio or production company, and then they did some audience testing, and it tested really well, so then it finally got a release. It stars Keanu Reeves as
Ted Theodore Logan.
And Alex Winter as Bill S. Preston Esquire.
I love the Esquire. I do. I just love Esquire.
And the other notable name is George Carlin as Rufus.
As Rufus.
The two great ones ran into a few problems.
They're not stoners. They're just kind of dudes in high school who are not really very academically adept.
We've learned that the world has a great history. Yes, and that thanks to great leaders such as Genghis Khan, Joan of Arc, and Socratic method, the world is full of history.
For years, Bill and Ted got lumped in with stoner films.
But they're not stoners.
There's no paraphernalia. There's no references. There's nothing whatsoever. They're just two laid-back, easygoing, not all that bright dudes.
Who have aspirations to be a big, successful rock band, even though they can't actually play any instruments.
Yeah, they can't actually play, which is why they need Eddie Van Halen.
Well, how can we have decent instruments when we don't really even know how to play? That is why we need Eddie Van Halen.
Who apparently, after the film came out, he jokingly said if they had asked, he would have done it.
Excellent!
Bill and Ted, they make up wild stallions.
They're about to flunk out of history class because they're not very good at school. And if they don't do a really special presentation the next day, they're going to flunk out. And Ted's father, who's very strict, is going to send him off to military school.
In Alaska.
So they have to do a really good presentation the next day. So they're visited from the future by Rufus, George Carlin.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
Do you know when the Mongols ruled China?
Their society in the future is built on Bill and Ted, basically, in one of their songs. So he needs to give them a helping hand so that they can succeed in the presentation and not flunk out of school. He leaves them with a time-travelling phone booth, and they proceed to go through time and space to collect some historical figures and bring them back for the presentation.
Originally, it was going to be a car. And the thing was, they didn't want to rip off Back to the Future, so they changed it to a phone booth, conveniently forgetting Doctor Who.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoops.
This one is not big inside like Doctor Who. It is actually a phone booth that you'll have to cram in.
There's lots of 80s effects going on in this thing. It's got some really early CGI going on.
It had a cloud tank at one point.
Well, when strange things were afoot at the Circle K. A hell of a lot of rotoscoping going on with those electrical effects. But the circuits of time were CG. They were very early CG.
Yeah, that's pretty early, yeah.
I think it cost them about $6.5 million to make it. So it's still pretty low budget. But they managed to stretch it, and it works. It absolutely works.
I hadn't seen it for a long time when I watched it before doing this, and I enjoyed it just as much.
Yes, it's one of those movies.
I still found it funny. There's some big laughs in it.
Do you notice it's not very smutty? It's not one of those movies, like, it's all easy laughs. It's all very straightforward, and it's highly enjoyable and very breezy and fun, which, especially in these days, is not a bad thing.
That was most unprecedented, Rufus.
There's no villain in this film. There's no bad guy. The thing is that they just have to pass their history test.
Now, unless you get an A+ on your final oral report tomorrow, guys,
I have no choice but to flunk the both of you.
That's the threat. But there's no one out to stop them from passing history. It's just purely, we have to do this. For guys that aren't all that smart, they manage to get their head around time travel theory pretty quickly.
Although they never get the names of anyone right.
Okay, we got Sigmund Freud, Beethoven, Socrates.
Hey, we know that name.
Yeah. Hey, look him up. Oh, it's under Socrates. Oh, yeah.
But at the end, they get it all right in the presentation.
They do. They all get it in the presentation, which is what matters. They bring back Napoleon by accident.
He just goes along with it. He doesn't really, nothing seems odd. Like he's there, he's going to the ice cream parlour.
Eat the big Ziggy, 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 Zig.
Bowling.
He's an absolute dick.
But hilarious.
Played by an Aussie, too.
Excusez-moi, monsieur.
Down there, not so fast, buddy. D, you ain't paid yet.
Hey?
Hey,
Out of the two of them, basically, Ted is a big Labrador.
I'm Bill. This is Ted.
He's always happy and bouncy. And even when they say something bad, he goes like, oh. And then he picks right back up again.
What if we were lying? Why would we lie to ourselves?
I think Bill seems smarter. He's a bit more aware of things. And then Ted just kind of says something silly and then's corrected by Bill and just goes along with it.
And
like
goes
a dog.
along with it. Like when they come out of the library at the beginning, Bill's carrying a piece of paper and Ted's carrying all the heavy books.
We're in danger of flunking most heinously tomorrow, Ted.
There's a lot of things that don't actually make sense in the time travel and all that, but it's not one of those films. Like,
It's not
it doesn't
one of those
matter.
movies. Well, once they get back to San Dimas, they've got 2 hours, and in that time they manage to take him to the mall. The mall gets trashed. They go and find Napoleon. Then they break them all out of jail, and then they come up with and put on the history thing all in about 2 hours.
Amazingly, they just walk into the theatre and just it's all in place.
It's all lit and has music cues.
And they're all on their little podiums and...
Some of those people in that crowd, they are not in high school. That dude's like 35. It's like, they must have just filled it with crew. You've got the whole thing going on with Bill's dad and Missy.
Hi, Bill. Want a ride?
Sure, Missy. Mom.
Wasn't she like an actual student from the school? Didn't they go to school with her?
She was a senior when they were a freshman. And Ted even asked her out at one point.
Remember when I asked her to the prom? Shut up, Ted!
But there's a scene early on where Missy brings him something to eat.
Hi. Brought you guys some food.
Something I'd never picked up on before, but yeah, she brings in grilled cheese sandwiches and they're black. They are just so burnt to a crisp. And then the look the dad gives her, it's so creepy but so funny at the same time.
Good.
George Carlin is awesome as Rufus. For a guy that is clearly in his middle age, he's somehow so effortlessly cool.
Yes, way.
And he doesn't come across as awkward or creepy, even with the complete obvious hand cutaway when he's having a riff on the guitar at the end of it. There's a hell of a lot of dude.
Dude. French dude. Dude. How's it going, Old West dude? Thanks, dude. Dude. Let's get out of here, dude.
Where are we, dude?
Dude. Gnarly old goat dude. I'm in love, dude. Dude, you totally boned that dude in the head. Yeah. How's it going, royal ugly dudes? Dudes. For a dude. Dudes. It's his mom, dude. Dude. 69, dudes.
Whoa. An air guitar.
The other thing that's amusing about this is, Keanu is so associated with this and his acting style. I think it took a long time for him to sort of even begin to shake it off a bit, but he's still got it. But now that he's done other things, you watch Bill and Ted's and now you're thinking, oh, it's John Wick and it's Neo. And
could you imagine if he played John Wick as Ted?
Yeah, or Neo. He kind of did.
Well, Neo had Neo still had a bit of Ted in him, didn't he? Yeah. Whoa.
Unfortunately, it also carried over into his performance in Dracula at the same time. But
there's more of that coming at another time.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, sir.
They tried a lot of people for the role of Bill and Ted, but it came down to apparently when they were doing the auditioning process. One, they thought they were going for the other role. So Keanu was going to be Bill and Alex was going to be Ted. And they even showed up to costume fittings thinking that they were the other character. But it came down to the fact that when they were doing the auditioning, these two were hanging together off set and they had that natural chemistry, and it's what comes through in the performance. Like, these two clearly just they click.
They've said that they're friends in real life because of this. But I think it's a pretty iconic cultural film of its time. Yeah, late 80s American. It's
so late 80s.
And there's nothing too nasty in it. Like, it's actually very enjoyable. It's
an easy 90 minutes. So behind the camera, Bill and Ted's was written by Chris Matheson. I'm going to do this again. And Ted Solomon. Was it Ted Solomon? And directed by Stephen Herek, who gave us Critters. It has a very simple message, Bill and Ted. You know, it's infectious. You can't help but smile. You just want to be excellent to each other.
It's a fun film that's worthy of viewing, although you can get much better quality copies now than VHS.
But I do love having this era of film. I mean, this is how I saw it. This was, you know, I'm sure there is a really nice Blu-ray collection from Shout Factory in the States. But watching this sort of era film on this quality, it just takes me back. I'm 14 again.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
They do get better.
So thanks for watching this episode of VHS Gold. If you like what you saw and want to see some more of it, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on those notifications so you'll see the next one when it pops up.